Hello everyone and welcome back. So in this video I wanted to talk about the assignment for this week and what you guys should be focusing on. Now when we designed these two workshops, we designed them so that they work together, and for people who joined the 3D artist workshop, they should have an environment that they can use to create all kinds of effects, whether it's particle, fluid sim, and or the destruction. Now, when it comes to destruction, if you have a file that you would like it to be revised or looked at by one of our instructors, please send it over and we'll help you check it and make sure that it's ready for destruction. If you want to go back and add some details, I highly encourage you to do so. For example, you can add some details inside these walls, for example, or give them different layers. Right now I only have bricks, for example, so you can add concrete and stuff like that. Make sure that all the pieces and geometry is actually separated and watertight and it's ready to be fractured. For example, if I had this piece belonging to this part, I wouldn't be able to fracture these planks and have them fall, for example. But if they are separate or they're made of a different material, I can have them interact differently. So it's very important to make sure that the mesh has all the details needed to react properly with the destruction. No matter what the environment you have it, you should be able to use it for destruction. If you don't have anything to use, we'll provide the environment that I used, these blocks, and hopefully you guys will be able to recreate something with that. Now we've covered a lot of stuff. We've touched on some pretty advanced stuff, even though it may look simple. We've covered stuff that will help you make some photorealistic destruction, primarily the clustering, the clamping clustering, the bending behavior, which is very crucial to the realism of any destruction you may have. The interior details, we've showed you guys a decent workflow for that works with all the renders. And then I don't remember what else, but and then the glue cluster constraint and breaking that up. Now I highly encourage you guys to try start with a simple wall, for example, like the one I did first. You can increase it to be like four walls and have an actual room, and set up the entire glue cluster system with a pin constraint and have an active RBD object flying through. That's going to be very easy to work with, and it's going to be light for you guys to change values and stuff like that. It's very important to have to go through the workflow of setting the geometry, fracturing it. Don't do any high res in the beginning. Create the geo, add multiple layers, bricks, concrete, woods, and stuff like that. Fracture them, set up the constraint system that uses glue and pin, and have an active RBD object that travels through the room and stuff like that, or something that falls on top of it, and get everything to work properly. Import the data into SOPs, cache it, and make sure that it works. Once you have the system, add the high-res fracturing for the edge displacement, and then for the high res as well. Once you fully understand everything, once you know all the steps needed, you can go and start adding and using your own geometry, but do not start with the high res geometry or complex geometry right away. Destruction by itself requires probably an entire workshop, and the amount of knowledge packed in this week is I know it's too dense, so take it easy. It's totally okay to feel a little bit overwhelmed with all this stuff. I think once you guys go through an entire example, it will become much easier. Now, what's the next step for destruction? The next step for destruction, if you guys want to research things further, is to add multiple constraint types between the pieces. For example, the wood would have a different type of glue constraint or pin constraint that is more bendable. You can have constraint between these pieces, for example, and these pieces that tie them together. Right now, everything is the same. You can add, for example, a sheet of metallic objects or concrete attached to this wall in a very unique way, and that glue constraint or constraint have a different criteria. And this will be the next step of having multiple constraint system that links various pieces together. And I think you guys should have enough knowledge to get going, hopefully explore some of this if you're into destruction. Cool. So I wanted to show one more thing. I added that block that I showed in the beginning. So this is the result, and I did not change anything, and actually the sim was running live when I was talking about this, and I did not change anything. Now this wood is fractured the same way I showed you guys. I added it to just add wood, and you can see here, you can see this clumping, that piece there, see this piece hanging. This is very, very hard to achieve and very realistic. And you can see the system that we've made works nicely with both type of materials, concrete and wood, and handles interconnections and stuff like that. So what did I change? I didn't change much. This is the geometry, and nothing fancy, to be honest, just simple geofractured. Copied it 3 times, run an assemble node to generate a new name attribute because I didn't care about what it had, and then I merged that in with the geometry. That's it. I did not change anything in the entire system. I changed the force so that it encompasses the entire geometry. Before it was just small, covering this entire block, so I extended it to affect everything, and this is the same. Cool. And this is the preview with the high-res geometry. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and talk to you next week. Bye-bye.